Hello guys, my name is Tasim and welcome. I'm going to show you how to access external database on an Android app using PHP scripts and JSON. I've already done an old tutorial, but this time I'm going to do all the network calls on a background thread using async task. Now if you don't know what async task is, you need to go here and read about it. But if you follow my code, you should be okay with that. What I need or what we require for this tutorial for the start. Okay, we already should have an external database. I have a MySQL database on my local machine, and this is what it looks. I have a test database on it, and it has a customer table. It has all these entries, and then I should have a PHP script on a web server, and this script should connect to the database, query, and query it and get data from it, and that data will be encoded into JSON using PHP, and then we print that. We should also have a blank Android app. I'll show you what my PHP scripts look like. It connects to the database. It queries this test database. It queries all the entries from the customer class, fetches them, and encodes them into the JSON format, and then prints it. And this is when you go to the URL where this PHP script is stored. This is what is printed. Okay, and this is a JSON array, and it is a list of all the customer in my customer table. So let's go. So this is what we are trying to achieve. Okay, and how we're going to achieve is we need to have a URL for this PHP script. Okay, we'll get the HTTP response object from that URL when we execute the get method, and then we'll get the entity from that HTTP response object, and we'll convert that HTTP entity, which is a string, into the JSON array, and then we'll iterate through this JSON array and get all the customers, and we'll print that in a text view. So my blank Android app is just like that. I'm using Android Studio, by the way. So my main activity, this is my layout file. It has only one text view, and I named it response text view and main activity class, and initializing it and connecting the. Okay, because I'm gonna do more tutorials on it, so all the code which calls does the network calls, I'm gonna put in a separate class. I'll call that class as API connector. Okay, and I'll make a method here. I'm going to post a lot of code today, only because I want to save some time and not wanted this tutorial to be 40 or 20 minutes long. You should pause and copy the code if you're using my code. Okay, so the first we need a URL. Okay, so my URL is here. Okay, I'll create a method first, which will return JSON array, and I'll call this get all customers. Okay, doesn't take any parameter. So this is my URL, and then I'll get HTTP response object from that URL, and then entity from that response object. Okay, I'm also going to tell you what I'm doing. Okay, so I'm initializing HTTP entity here because I need to use it outside try-catch block. So import. I'm initializing a default HTTP client and initializing HTTP get method, and I'm passing the URL into it, and I'm then getting the HTTP response object from this by executing this URL. Okay, now this method it throws the exceptions. That's why I'm putting that in the try catch block. It can gives you all kind of exceptions. The reason I'm catching this specifically is because it signals the error in the HTTP protocol. So if there's a error in this here, in order to, instead of going through all these print stack traces to find out what the error is, if it catches the client protocol error, you can log it here. Okay, once that is done, we'll convert that into JSON array. Okay, and then return it. Okay, so what I'm doing here is I'm initializing JSON array here. I'm checking if it's not null, because if it's null, then there's no point of doing all this code. Okay, I'm initializing string response here, which is this string, and then I'm getting that from this entity utility. Okay, and I'm logging this, so I'll see like this is exactly pushing. Now this method here, when you get the JSON array from string, it throws exceptions, so we need to catch it here as well. You can also save some space in the code by doing this in here. Okay, but I choose it this way. So once all this is done, and we have got JSON, when this code will be executed, we should get JSON array, and we'll then return it to wherever we're calling this method. Okay, which will be probably in a async task. This here is done. Now we'll create a class which will execute our async task. Okay, I'll call that as get all customer task, and it extends async. Okay, it takes parameter, it takes the progress long, it takes all sort of parameters. Okay, for parameters I'll pass API connector class to it, and progress is long, and result in our case is JSON array, and the method I'm going to use it. Okay, and the other method is this. So if you have read the documentation, you know what these methods do. For the people who are lazy, okay, do in background is a method which is executed on background thread. Okay, do I really need to write it? And this here is executed on a main thread. So in background, we want it to do is we want to params, and we want it to do this. Okay, now this method returns JSON array, and that's what we want. We'll return it. Okay, just give me a pause, 2 more seconds. I have a tradable cold. Okay, now once this method will be executed and we will get the JSON array, it will execute this, this task will execute this thing, and here what we need to do is we will set text to text view. Okay, and we will pass this JSON array to it. Now this is a method we need to create. Okay, text JSON array. Okay. Okay. Now in this text view, okay, we are getting JSON array from the PHP scripts. What we all doing here is we are iterating through a JSON array, getting the JSON object from it, and then I'm making actually a string which I will just set it to, I will post or display, whatever the word is. And this is what I'm doing here. Okay, I'm initializing a string, I'm iterating to JSON array, and the reason I'm doing it inside try-catch is because this method here throws exception. Okay, so I'm getting a name from this key value, which if you can see, name, these are my keys in a JSON object. So once we get all of this, I'm posting it here. Okay. Now, in order this class to run, we are calling it here. So once the activity starts, we want it to start executing that call. So new get all customer talks execute, and we're passing a parameter which is API connector class. So creating a new. This is all we need to do in order to. And there's one more thing. This is very important. In your manifest file, you should say, please give it to the internet. Okay. If you have all followed correctly, we will be able to get the result. Okay. It takes a long time to execute. Okay, for my other tutorials which I'm going to follow is I'm going to, in my next tutorial, instead of this text view, I'm going to put that all the JSON object in a list view, and then followed by calls to the PHP script for only one object, or the conditions which we need to do in the future. So it's running here. So see, it executes it, and then once it got all the items, it does that in the background, and once it got all, it posted it here. So thanks very much. Before we go, I got a lot of comments, people saying that we get this error here and they're not able to know. So I posted the comments to all the people who have, who has got this error. Now this error is specifically telling you that it's not able to convert the JSON string, this string, into JSON array. Now the only reason it is, which I'm saying, is when you're writing your PHP script here, so if you're getting only one object and you're doing the same way I'm doing, it should give you a JSON array of one object if you have only one entry in your customer table. Now I'm going to show you what this error means. It means that if the response string is this way, it's going to throw you this exception error, okay? But if it's a JSON array with two objects, it will be fine. Even if it's a JSON array with one object, notice these brackets here, it will be fine. Now, if your response is only this, okay, so it's not a JSON array, it's a JSON object here. So in order, in here, which I'm going to do in a future tutorials, in API class, when I'm converting the response string into JSON array, so if your response string is like that, say here, instead of JSON array, JSON object, okay? Of course you need to do here JSON object, and that should work fine. But I don't if you follow my tutorial, you don't need to do it, okay? It will always return JSON array from the scripts. If you have any other questions, please post comments, and if you like these tutorials and want to get notified for other future tutorials, please subscribe. Thanks very much. I hope it solves. Sorry. Thanks. Bye.